Back in the building with my man JC. You know what it is. You know what we do. Obviously, we're coming to you a little early. I think we normally either do 5. No, we do 6 on. You know what? We're here.
Yeah.
How about that? We're here. JC, how was your week, baby?
Oh man, good man. I'm just trying to get over this cold, man. I don't know if anybody saw the last live we was on, man. I had tissue all up my nose. I'm just trying
You
to
had
get right,
tissue
man.
on
But
the
I'm here.
live?
I'm here.
I heard it, but I didn't see it. You had tissue on the live? We got to get
Yeah,
you
man.
right,
I
my
was blowing
man.
my nose, man. I tried to hold it in, but I ain't trying to get too detailed. But I couldn't hold it in.
Hey man, listen, we got a full docket right now. We're gonna talk about some of these Bear trade options. We hear a lot of things. A lot of teams are supposedly putting in calls. Mel Kiper decided that the Atlanta Falcons may actually trade the number 8. I don't know where you got that idea from. We're gonna talk about that. And the Patriots seem to be definitely taking a QB. Is this an opportunity for the Bears to at least have one trade partner to trade back with, and still, whether they keep Justin or not, improve? Let's talk about that and more. Let's do it right after this. You know, the funny thing is I clicked the wrong one, and that was just solely Pat. And Pat is not going to be on this episode, but he does have the team hold it down.
No matter if he ain't here, he's here. He's always around.
He's here in spirit. We gotta talk about it though. We have to talk about some of these trade options simply because we're going to have these conversations throughout the year. We're going to have this speculation, but unfortunately, fortunately, we are in the unique position to control everything. And some of these deals seem to actually be interesting. They seem to be interesting. I want to address something. Pat made a video about this earlier, but the Patriots trading, not the Patriots, the Mel Kiper saying the Atlanta Falcons being able to trade the number 8 overall. You got to give it to me, man. Like, what do you see in this? Do you see there's any? No, he's the only person reporting. He's the only person who even came up with the idea that they would trade the number 8. So I have to understand it. What are your thoughts on it?
Now, if you're saying, are we talking about trading that number 8 for Justin Fields?
For Justin Fields.
Oh no, yeah. Well, first of all, let me attack this 2 ways. If we were to say, okay, yeah, trade Justin Fields. If Ryan Poles is on the side of we are going to go with a different quarterback in the draft, restart the rookie contract, and they get a number 8 for Justin, that's another fleecing, because everybody's been talking about the Bears possibly getting at the best a second round pick for Justin, second or third. So if you're talking about being in the top 10 in the draft and you letting go of the quarterback, then yeah, of course, that's a steal. I would do that all day. But you kind of got to give a grain of salt with Mel Kiper, man. We talked about this the other day. Mel Kiper is one of those guys who, obviously he's an expert in a lot of people's eyes, but he sometimes gets things wrong. So, yeah.
Sometimes. There's a lot of times.
Yeah, I was being
I don't think
nice.
he's been right ever since I've paid attention to football, if I'm being honest with you. And he's gotten everything pretty much wrong. I will say this. There is reason for Atlanta to want to trade for Justin Fields. And I'm going to be honest with you, him being from that area, the Falcons fan wanting him and things of that nature, all of that realistically is one of the things that makes it an interesting conversation. I do not see a number 8 overall for Justin. I just don't see it. I don't see them wanting to bet that high for that situation. I could be wrong. They could have a worse, OC. General manager than we do. But I have no idea why that will even take place. But I will say this: if I had to entertain it, as Pat said in his video earlier, you absolutely have to take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not a situation at all where if you're going to get that high of a haul for, and again, having 3 top 10 picks in this draft, no, I'm sorry. Like he said, thanks for playing our game.
King's ransom. Yeah, that's a King's
we have
ransom.
to do it. That's more than I was thinking, as high as a third for Justin, a second and a third. I saw that being possible, and I'm like, I don't believe we have our second this year. That makes sense. It's still a starter. Like I would get that. Gucci said he wouldn't trade it from anything other than pick number 3. Yeah, Justin ain't worth pick number 3 with pick number 3 in his back pocket.
Well,
All right.
here's the thing too. Ryan Poles has been on record even last year, and we talked about this too, saying that he has to be completely blown away. Right? That's what he's always been saying about Justin Fields. Now, whether or not that translated to this year, we don't know. But saying that you have to be completely blown away, I would think that this is the type of deal that blows you away. That you're saying, oh wait, you're telling me you're going to give me another pick in the top 10 for Justin Fields? Okay, let me go back to the drawing board. Let me evaluate this real quick and let me see if this is cool. And then another factor I think too is Bill Belichick is he not being interviewed by Atlanta?
Bill Belichick is being interviewed by Atlanta. They had a 3-hour conversation.
You never know if maybe that's the guy that maybe he wants to kind of mold. I don't know if Bill coming in the door is probably going to ask for all the control in the world, and so if he does do something like that, maybe he's requesting that type of trade. Maybe he gets behind that.
Has Bill ever had success with that style of QB? I mean, we know that he's had Cam Newton. Well, no, he's only had like 3 QBs in the last 20 years.
He had an old past his prime Cam though. Like I don't know. That's a good point.
Can you see Bill coaching that style of? And Bill's a defensive coach. He's not an offensive coach.
Yeah.
So
defense
we're
is
talking
his strategy.
about Bill
definitely.
really having emphasis on the defense. I highly doubt he even. I know he's going to have to hire an OC, whoever the OC is there. I think he's out anyway. I know that's the situation, but Bill is a defensive guy. So Atlanta always had defensive issues. And at least, I mean, for the last 10 years, if you ask me, I mean, they lost the Super Bowl because they didn't have a good defense, realistically. But I mean, so like you have to think of it from that perspective. I don't think that Bill is going to do well with coaching that style of QB.
Yeah, even the GM of the Bears, Ryan Poles in the chat, is saying Bill is not coaching that type of style of quarterback. I can see Jim Harbaugh doing it. And of course,
if Jim Harbaugh gets that gig, I can absolutely see them trading for Justin.
Yeah.
But then that would have to be one of those questions you have to ask. All right, Ryan Poles, why didn't you pick up the phone? Because apparently they didn't even call for him.
Don't let me go back down that road.
So if you didn't even call for him and he ends up being the Atlanta Falcons head coach and they make a strong move for Justin, it's going to raise a lot of eyebrows. It's going to be like, hey, why couldn't we have that situation here?
Yeah.
Is that Kevin Warren hatred supposedly real? Does that beef run deep? Like what's happening here? I still don't understand that, by the way, either.
Yeah, my thing with that is business. Keep your personal issues to the side. If you're all about winning and changing the culture, like Kevin Ward said in his press conference, then you should have at least given him a chance to come through the door for an interview. But even outside of that, going back to the fact that with the number 8 pick, I think that if the Bears, you talking about Ryan Poles, this is another subject we talked about yesterday with Ryan Poles being that GM for this team, for the long haul. This is something that would kind of put him up there in my mind as solidifying him as one of those really, really good GMs. He's already made moves from last year to this year in trades, in the draft, and picked up certain free agents that have been impactful on this team to say he knows what he's doing. So if we were to get something like that, again, that would be a fleecing. You gotta respect anything and everything that Ryan Poles does.
I want to stay on that same train of thought, but I want to pivot a little bit at what the Patriots are now doing. And by the way, I have to give Bill credit. I don't know the legitimacy of the statement, but apparently it was in his contract to have Jerod Mayo take over as coach if he left. If that's real, shout out for him for putting on another brother in the head coaching position, because that's big.
I had no idea. That is big. That's dope.
If that's true, I've heard that reported 2 different sources, one very reputable. I'm not going to put them out there just yet. I'm going to take the heat on that one, but I read it several times, and that would be really cool. So Bill's doing some I guess some good things from a diversity standpoint there. But with all that being said, they're taking a quarterback.
Yeah,
Mayo's interview definitely alluded to it. We know they absolutely need one. They've ruined Mac Jones.
Who?
His twin, his twin brother. I don't care what nobody say. Zappy and Mac Jones look a lot alike, dog.
Yes, they.
That's creepy. Mom's got some explaining to do. Somebody,
no.
Papa was a Rolling Stone. Something happened here because they put them two images up, and I promise you, one just looked like angry Mac Jones and happy Mac Jones. That's all it looked like. So, with that being the
This
case,
guy
I
ends
have
of
to
the
ask.
spectrum.
It was crazy. So you have to ask, will the Patriots be in on potentially the Caleb Williams scenario? And I ask this because Mayo, different head coach than Bill, different scenario, still comes from that coaching tree, obviously, but different flavor in his style of coaching. Do you see a potential of us trading with them, trading down, picking up so much because they need a QB? We know they're going to build a defense. They need a QB.
I just think it's all, dude. I think it's going to all boil down to the bidding war that Ryan Poles has these guys in, which is why I think, going back again, this is all connected to the OC search and, Cliff Kingsbury is now interviewed. So maybe that means they're going into Caleb camp. And now, Greg Roman was interviewed. So maybe they're keeping Justin and trying to develop a better run game around him and blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So it's like all this tug and pull. And I feel like if they were to get all the way to the top, it would have to be a huge haul that the Bears would get back. And
you think so?
No, absolutely, because again, that it's going to be predicated off the bidding war. Like all these other teams are going to be in a fight to try and get Caleb. If they see that Caleb is that guy that they want, I think that it will come down to that. They'll be in the middle of that as well.
I could see them actually trade up. Here's the funny thing. I don't see, and this is going to sound weird, I don't see Ryan Poles getting the same haul he got last season.
Ooh, I don't know, bro. I think they could get better.
The reason I say that because there are so many things that we absolutely need that I don't think that you trade back that far. And the teams that need QBs, there is enough QBs in this draft to take a risk on. If Caleb Williams comes off the board, number one, no matter what, there's still Drake May. There's still Jaden Daniels. For some odd reason, Bo Nix is very high on everyone's list, right? Yeah. So maybe he's your. I want to say Will Levis because he fell to the second round, not because of anything else. You have more QB potential in this draft than you had last draft, and so while I like Caleb Williams, he's not the end all be all here. You still have 3, maybe 4 other QBs that could really help turn the organization around if you do it the right way. I don't see anyone just jumping out the gym because of that. Because last season, you only had 2, maybe 3. Anthony Richardson was a project. No one, I mean, realistically, he was a project.
That's true.
You only
did shoot up the boards like late. Yeah.
You only had Will Levis, CJ Stroud, and Bryce Young as the guys. And even then, there were still questions on whether or not Bryce Young, but Will Levis was the guy. Will Levis was always projected late first round. He kind of edged up a little bit. And then Richardson came out of nowhere. But outside of that, it was just like a really dry situation. Drake May would be number 1 if it wasn't for Caleb.
Yeah. Well, and see, this is another. So there's tiers to it. I think that Drake May and Caleb are the clear 2 top quarterbacks. That every team that's wanting one, that's quarterback needy, that's going up to that number 1 pick, they're going to fight between those 2, I think, for that. But here's the reason why I think it's a better haul, because last year, you mentioned the names, Bryce Young, which we've seen, I think it's a product of his team more so than him as a talent, but I think
nobody there, dog.
Yeah, the Carolina is just it's bad.
And I think he still put up 3,000 yards. By the way, over 100 in the chat.
Yay!
There you go. Hey, that was dry.
Let's
that was
go.
dry. It was what was that? It's also just me and you, though.
I'm sorry. I'm sick.
We're going to get it. Don't worry. We're going to work.
Try my best. But no, I think with the crop and the talent that is at quarterback this year, I think it's better than what was out there last year. Even though we've seen C.J. Stroud be elite and play at an MVP level this year and get the team to the playoffs, which nobody thought would happen. But you didn't know that going into the draft. Like nobody knew that's what he was going to be. Otherwise they would have took him over Bryce. So my point is, this year everybody's clamoring over Caleb. Even last year, if he would have been in the draft last year, Caleb would have been number 1 because that was his Heisman year. Mm-hmm. And so this year you're looking for teams to really be thirsty and desperate which means that they're going to probably even be more, let's say, willing to give up more. Even if you drop down to 2 or 3, yeah, usually, okay, it's not that far of a drop down, but because of the talent that these teams are looking for in quarterback, which is the most important position in the league, they're going to give up a whole bunch more. They're going to give a king's ransom. So I think Ryan Poles is in a perfect position to get an even better haul. Even if he doesn't get like a star player back like a DJ Moore. Even if we don't get like, say, a Max Crosby or I talked about a Jonathan Allen from Washington along with trade picks.
Mm-hmm.
We're still going to get a really, really big haul, I think.
Now, this may be an old graphic, but I want to pull this up to see, because I think, no, we're still in the same realm. Atlanta's still 8. We still have our 9th pick. How much did this change? I don't think much of this has changed.
I believe that's correct.
I believe this is still correct.
because this is the full season, 17 games. Yeah.
Okay. I believe this is still correct. Yeah, it is. So with this being the case, I'm looking at this list. The Commanders, people want them to take a QB. They don't have to take a QB.
I know how you feel about how, man. The stats
no, it's
are
not
there.
even about seriously, what do you want a second-year QB to do? And it's first year starting. It was his first year starting.
I agree. I agree with you, but I think that they're still looking for quote unquote better. And because again, going back to the level of talent that is coming out of this draft at quarterback, I don't think they want to pass up on a chance of doing all of their homework and saying, you know what? Yeah, we have Sam Howell. He's been very good in his role, but at the same time, and like Tricky just said, Sam Howell might be the new Jameis Winston. Do you want better than Jameis Winston? Yes. Jameis Winston is the definition of give and take.
Jameis?
Huh?
What version of Jameis? Because we all talk about the 33 touchdowns and 30 picks, but he actually had some seasons before then. He's actually decent.
I ain't never knocking Jameis because Jameis can throw the ball. When Jameis is on, Jameis will give you a really good game.
Jameis is just weird.
He's always been just
weird,
hot and cold, bro. But at the same time, are you saying that that's what you're okay with? Are you settling for that when you have a potential quarterback that can give you 30 touchdowns and 5 interceptions? like you know what I'm saying?
You know, the reason I say that is not to I don't have an affinity for Sam Howell. We are quick to label certain people as busts, quick to label certain people as mid. And It's like, how do you label this is his first full year starting. He put up really good yards. He showed a lot of potential, had some decision making that he has to clean up. Like, he has to improve in that area. But as a young QB, he gave you enough to say, all right, I kind of want to see more. If I'm being not a fan, if I'm not emotionally tied to the process, and I realize that I'm in a situation hey, you have enough to develop there. And he did put up, I think he led the league in, was it not rookie yards? What did he lead the league in?
What's that?
He led the league in. Was it yards?
You got me on that one.
Sam Howell actually put up decent numbers. Now, again, turnovers is an issue. He probably led in INTs, if we're being honest. Sam Howell probably led in INTs.
Which is exactly why I think that they want to kind of don't leave any stone unturned. And this is another reason, too. I don't know. Well, I know Baki is very, very reliable source.
41 a day. He literally was even. No, that's 21 INTs. He threw for 3,900 yards.
We got a reliable source in the chat. Baki always coming with the facts. He's saying that he mentioned earlier, I guess, to you about Magic Johnson being part of that Washington Commanders ownership group, and he's going to be looking for a splashy move at quarterback. So I don't know, how
he's a minority.
Technically
owner.
True that is, but that could play into them also wanting to move forward with possibly Drake May or, like you said, Jaden or Caleb. So again, it's all about how desperate can you make these teams, which is why I think the Bears, again, are going about this the right way in vetting all of these different candidates for coordinator and all these other staff positions and making it seem like, oh, well, is he actually going in the direction of Caleb or is he staying with Justin? And it's making all of these other teams, confused and in chaos, and that's what you want. That's literally what you want until draft time
Mhm.
comes, until that draft day comes, and then people are going to be like, "All right, okay, all right, yeah, let's just give them what they want." That's how you want these other teams to feel. They need to be thirsty.
I get you. It's one of those situations where I looked at this list and I thought about what does everyone really need. Like the Giants need a QB. But Ringo needs the QB.
Shout out to Rico.
Ringo needs the QB.
Shout out to Rico.
The Chargers don't need a QB. Arizona
Oh,
doesn't need a QB. The Jets, they don't need to draft a QB that high with Aaron Rodgers coming back.
Yeah.
They do need a QB. They don't need to draft one in the top 10.
No, they can get somebody probably later on.
They can get someone later.
Because Aaron's
The
not going to be around
Bears
forever.
at number 9, if we trade it back, yes, that's our pick. We control it, sure. But like 1, 2, 3, 4 teams, like Tennessee Titans don't need a QB. Will Levis kind of cooked a little bit in this little small role.
Yeah, he's the new.
He's gonna be all right.
He's the new Tannehill.
That's disrespectful to Will Levis.
What?
That's mad.
He's doing what he's supposed to do. What's up, V-Dog?
That's mad disrespectful. I'm gonna let him know that. I'm gonna hit him up on Twitter, like
and then bring him on the show. Yeah, tell him to come on the show and we'll talk.
So that's why I'm looking at this. I'm like, we gotta start looking at outside of the top 10 because like the people who are in the top 10, like if I'm New England, I don't have to trade with you.
Yeah.
I don't have to trade with you. I'm going to get a good QB at number 3. If I'm the Giants, that's different. I could still get a QB. I may not get the QB I want. That's different.
Yeah.
Giants, you might need to sell your soul on that one. I
was about to say, you probably
might need to come with it.
That's a fact.
Atlanta.
What up, Mike?
Atlanta, you might want to trade up, but like, but again, it's all about who you want. Like, I don't think he's gonna get that big of a haul. Carolina absolutely needed that, and they were like, it was such a small draft class QB wise that they had to move up and make an aggressive move because it was really only 1 or 2. No one really was big on the other 2. It was a 1 or 2 with CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. That was it. You got 4 names being mentioned, and the highest dude he didn't even win the Heisman this year. Yeah, Caleb wasn't the best QB in his class this year. Now, career-wise, I would say he's a better QB.
Yeah, in the last 3 years. Yeah, absolutely. Caleb is that dude. Yeah.
But this season, he didn't have the better season.
No.
He wasn't the best. He was the best QB this season, college-wide.
No.
So, like, if you're in those teams, it's like,
had a
hey,
good season.
I got leverage.
Yeah.
I got some leverage. So,
yeah.
I don't see that happening. Here's the interesting thing. I do see us getting a decent haul for Justin, though.
Now, see, that's the thing. I don't believe that we can do what I really don't think it's realistic that we could get number 8. Like, as much as we talked about it, like I said, that would be the all-time fleecing if we were to actually be okay with letting go of Justin and getting another pick in the top 10. It would just have to be a straight-up Justin for a pick. Like, I don't see anything else coming back. You think that there would be something better?
What I mean by that is, like, I'm not going to say better than, like, the first round, but I can see, like, Atlanta giving up a second and a third for him. I don't think.
So a second and a third for Justin straight up.
A second and a third.
I mean, that ain't bad.
Do they got their third? Hold on. Let me make sure they got their third. I can see that happening. Like,
it's as much as I love JF1. I mean, if we were to get a haul back like that, that would kind of soften the blow. If we were to go the Caleb route, yeah. No, second and a third is not bad.
Like, let's be honest. Is that enough? Yeah. Like, did you really expect to get more than that? Probably not.
Well, I mean, because if you're trading Justin, you're saying that he hasn't reached the level of expectation that you assumed he would get to. Whether or not he was given a fair shot or not, if you're going in the direction of letting him go, then should you expect a first round pick? No, because a first round pick means you're giving up a superstar. And Justin is not technically known as that.
A first round pick means you're giving up that. I mean,
in the league, I mean, if I said I'm gonna give you Christian McCaffrey, do you expect me to ask for a second or third? No, you expect me to ask for your first. If I say I want Patrick Mahomes, I'm getting your first, or you're getting my first.
So yeah, they have a second rounder. They have a third rounder. They also have a 2 fourths, one from Jacksonville.
Are you
They
serious,
have
Pocky?
they have their picks. What's happening?
Oh snap! Bulls about to start winning again. I guess we'll talk about that. No wonder he only had 8 points. Not to derail the conversation, but he's
we're gonna get into Zach LaVine in a second because hey, Zach LaVine threw that towel in anger because he realized he probably ain't gonna get traded. It's like I can't never get out of this city. Hey, can Zach stay healthy? Zach cannot stay healthy. But then again, he also somebody like he twisted his ankle. I mean, what do you want to do? Like that?
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
That happens. Not for me. I'll be rooting for the Falcons though, right? Bulls. The interesting thing about the Bulls, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. I want to move off of this conversation transition, and we might as well jump into it. We're already talking about it. The chat's talking about it.
Let's get it.
Let's talk about the Coby White situation, my man. You hit me up and said, PK, I got some interesting stats about Coby White. I got some interesting stats about the winning percentage with him here and stuff like that. And this is going to be a short episode. We're not going to do a full hour because it's Friday. It's Freestyle Friday too. So we got some interesting stuff on the back end. Yeah. But JC, go ahead. Hit me with the stats, man. What you got? What's
yesterday
about Coby White today?
Yeah, in Toronto yesterday, it was a very, very good game back and forth. They usually have really good games against Toronto, whether it's here or it's in Toronto. But Coby White ended the game 10 of 19 on field goals, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Very good game. But in wins this season, Coby White is averaging 20.7 points per game. He's shooting almost 48% from the field, and he's shooting over 40% from three. Almost 6 assists, right under 6 assists a game, and then 5.5 rebounds a game. In losses, his numbers are much lower. I wouldn't say much lower, but they're lower. 16.8 points per game, 43 field goal percentage, and a 38.9 3-point percentage, 4 assists, 3.5 rebounds. So technically, that actually aren't bad numbers. But essentially, if you want to win, as you always say, let the man cook. Let Coby cook, bro, because every time I've seen us go in the route of going to Zach when he was healthy or going to DeMar in those late game situations, and I shouldn't really knock on DeMar because that's what DeMar does, right? And they rely on him for that. But the more and more you see Coby kind of getting into that, filling that role of being the guy or being one of the main options at scoring, you're seeing that the Bulls are winning. They're a more well-rounded team. They play more well-balanced. You see that he gets more people involved. Ayo is taking an uptick. Patrick Williams is doing a better job of playing within the game and the flow.
I guess.
I just what'd you say, man?
I ain't say nothing. I say nothing.
Every time I meet Pat Williams, I got something to say.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
But overall, just when you compare those numbers, you look at how Coby impacts winning. And that's what you want on your team. We can talk all day about how athletic and great individually a talent like Zach LaVine is. But are you contributing to winning? Do you truly make other teammates better? How your style of play is it catering to getting a W at the end of the day? And I think Coby White is that type of player, and he's developing into a star every single game.
I'm gonna say this. I think that this is a situation where we're going to, and not saying you, but the fan base and many of the announcers I hear are going to find a reason to pick up a lot of Zach hate and not really look at the context of his situation. But to answer you directly, like realistically, in a full nutshell, Coby White is playing like this is his team now.
Bro, the confidence is there.
His confidence is high. And realistically, remember, if anyone remembers back in the day, I used to say, hey, I got 2 shooting guards, Coby and Zach. They tried to move Coby to the point guard position. That was cool. We get DeMar. It's like, I definitely got 2 shooting guards now because DeMar's a shooting guard. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, like, but now you're in a situation where Coby gets his money differently than DeMar. He operates in a different space. He's a different type of playmaker than Zach is. And so they can coexist, in my opinion, a lot better than DeMar and Zach. I just don't think DeMar and Zach fit. They don't fit together. So it's more about fit. I hate the fact that he gets positioned as if Zach was this like culture killer, this, that, and the other. It's like he didn't develop the team around him. And
No,
sometimes when you don't have a good fit, it just don't fit. It don't work.
it don't work.
It don't matter what you, no matter what you do, it just don't work.
Right.
And we've seen that on like so many times. We've seen it in plenty of spaces. Like realistically, for a while, like the Clippers didn't work. Like Paul George and Kawhi didn't work until they got a high level point guard. James Harden.
That's what's needed. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I would have never thought that too. Because
But
I
before,
thought James Harden was a cancer and everywhere he goes, but that is working. You're absolutely right.
so when you don't have the right fit, you can't expect the system to develop. You can't expect any consistency on top of the limited play that they had and stuff like that. They not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
not what it is. My man said they talk about Bears for 5 minutes. The trick is out. We talked about Bears for a whole nearly 30 minutes. AJ Sanders, I love you. I love you,
Say
my
the
boy.
bum bulls.
I got the mic, you don't. Don't make me cook you here. All right, anyway, so with this being said,
Jay Sanders is gonna be all right.
be all right. I don't care. But like realistic, like the fit just don't work.
Yeah.
Coby White is a different type of playmaker. That fit works. But they're always going to sit there and say, hey, Zach was this. Zach was that. I was like, no, Zach wasn't the cancer y'all made him out to be. I just hate that. I hate that aspect. Like, do I think Zach belongs in? No, I wanted to see Zach get traded to the Lakers. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wanted to see Zach in some purple and gold and see what he could do over there. I wanted him off. I think he needs to go to a different situation.
But see, he would have been. I think he would have thrived in that role because again, when he started out in the league, what was he? Was the number 3 behind Andrew Wiggins and Cat over in Minnesota. So he's always been. He's never been the number 1 option. So when they brought him here to Chicago to be that number 1 option, I feel like he only made himself better. He didn't make the team better. And so now that you paid him like a number 1, I think Raging Oracle mentioned this earlier. You're paying him like a number 1, but he's literally a viable number 3 option on a really, really good team.
How many guys really make their team better? Like,
there's only a handful.
Here's a quick question: does LeBron make his team better?
You know how I feel about that because I've argued this before. I don't think he makes.
He doesn't make.
They gonna kill me. They gonna kill me for this. But I'm gonna stand on what I said before. LeBron doesn't technically make people around him better, and I date this all the way back to when he was with the Lakers, when they had Lonzo and Ingram and Julius Randle. He didn't make none of them better. They were actually tired of playing with him because he makes you.
You have to.
He makes you fit into a role.
You have to acquiesce to what he does, and that's you know what the funny thing is. That's not a bad thing. You know the one thing I've always appreciated about LeBron is he knew what he was good at. He knew what situation best fit him, and he actually went out and voiced, "Hey, this is what we need." And because he was so good, you absolutely get that man what he needs. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a winning season. And you have a good chance at least being in the finals. I take that bet anytime. Like that's not a bad.
Yeah, you appease to LeBron because he's one of the greatest to ever do it. I'm not knocking that at all. I mean that's still a fact. But if we're just being completely honest, still there's still a world where he could be the greatest, but then you still don't technically make players around you better. And so equating it back to Zach, you're a great talent, one of the most athletically gifted players in the league. But you don't bring about a winning mindset. And maybe that's catered to, but maybe that's because he's never been on a winning team, too.
Like it's the fit. Let's be real. You can take anybody off of Boston right now, put them on a different team. I don't think any one of them would make someone else better. But the team that they've built around those guys, that young core, that's all. By the way, they get as many excuses as anybody. How many times are you going to be like right there and not make it? You know what I'm saying? Like they don't. There's very few people who make other people better. Chris Paul literally makes organizations better. Now you can't.
That's a fact.
You can't depend on him in the playoffs, but he makes people better. So when I sit there and I hear people say Zach doesn't make people better, that's not his job necessarily at his age and what he's trying to accomplish.
Well, I fight against that because if you're getting paid again like a number 1, it should be your job to be the best version of yourself, which is, or what the organization expects of you, which is to bring about a winning culture and to impact and motivate your teammates to be on that same level as you are. I mean, when MJ did that, obviously better than anybody. He motivated his teammates, whether it was cussing them out or through his play. It made a difference. So I think that if you're getting paid, you can't just say, "Oh, well, I'm just going to go out there and put up 28 points and that's all I got to do because I'm getting paid like a number one." No, you have to impact all different phases of the league of the organization. Then you probably have to be the spokesperson for that team. You probably have to be the semi coach for the players on the court. Like you have there's so much more responsibility when you're getting paid like a number one, other than just being great yourself.
So here's the thing: he's not getting paid like a number one. He's getting paid market for for his position. He's making $100 million less than Jaylen Brown. Put that into perspective. He's making 100 M's less than a guy we say is his comparative.
Yeah.
Right. So he just got
everybody getting paid good money now.
What is he's not a Raging. He's not overpaid. He's paid exactly what a 25 point a game player is worth in today's league.
Yeah, the money's just constantly going up. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
He's getting paid 60. Like, he doesn't get paid $60 million a year as some people. He gets paid market money.
But see, even here's a good point also by Raging. His job is to contribute to wins as a number one. Your job is to drag your team over the wins. Be aware enough to know when to keep your foot on the necks, when to press them, and he doesn't do that. Zach is I wouldn't say Zach is a diva, but Zach is he's just not. It doesn't seem like he's really concerned about being that type of player, and this is why, as much as everybody got on me when I said it, Brown is way better. Overall, I agree with that, especially on defense. I agree with that, Gucci.
Why the Boston Celtics why do we never feel like they're going to win?
What do you mean? They always get close.
Do you feel like they're going to be champions?
I mean, they got a good chance
that
this
moment
year.
Right there. You see that moment where you hesitated? That's it right there. That man makes 60.
I got to think about it.
Well, you got to think about it, but you get paid $100 million more than the person I'm comparing you to.
Boston
I'm not trying to hear that, my G. If
Look.
we're going to make it about the money, Jaylen Brown gets paid $300 million. Zach gets paid, you said I'm being technical, $85 million less.
Yeah.
Thank you. Desmond Bane just got $200 million. He ain't even the best person on his team.
Money is just constantly getting
paid. Ja Morant came back, and then guess what? They trash again because Ja Morant ain't there.
That's a good point, Steve.
$20 million.
Money is just being put everywhere. So no, that's not the issue. Is the money? The thing is, he still has a responsibility to impact winning and on different levels other than just scoring and getting his. And I think Zach is just not that type of player. I don't think he's ever had the mentality. I don't think he was ever taught that mentality to be that type of player. And this is going back to the point I was going to make about a player who, again, everybody grilled me on when we got him because I was like, oh, he's really good for this team, is when we got Pat Beverly in the building. Pat Beverly could give you 3 points, but he impacts winning. He impacts the mindset. He impacts the culture.
Okay. He's also a what? What position
a backup?
does he play?
Point guard.
He's a what type of point guard?
A prototypical type of point. Pass
first point guard. What did I say we needed for Zach LaVine?
Lonzo Ball.
A pass first point guard. So when you get a pass first point guard,
really being honest,
we got the best version of Zach LaVine. And we also saw DeMar defer to him at times, and they looked like they were cooking, right? This is the same situation. Only difference is we just wanted Zach got paid, and we're holding him to that standard because he got paid as if it's our money. I don't know why the fan does that. Like, it's not our money, right? I ain't paying him $40 million because if I did, I'd keep it, right? So, right? But like realistically, the fit, you didn't give him the tools. And you're going to kill. Like, we didn't give him the tools. DeMar can't carry.
Well, we did, but again, that's why Baki said that's why Lonzo's so important. I think it crashed and burned with Lonzo.
I'm gonna give you a hot take. DeMar couldn't carry this team. Prime DeMar.
What do you mean if LaVine wasn't
Prime
here?
DeMar, if you just didn't take LaVine
No.
off, let's take Prime DeMar, 28-year-old DeMar, which is the same player LaVine was. If y'all really know your basketball, he would not be able to carry this team.
Prime DeMar isn't the same DeMar that he is now, though. I think he has a different mentality. I think ever since he got on the Spurs, I think he understood the game and looked at it in a different way due to Pop kind of mentoring him. When he was in Toronto and he was in his prime, DeMar was like LaVine. He was just trying to dunk on everybody, score a whole bunch of points, and Toronto was always a first round exit. But I think DeMar has a different mentality.
They made a couple runs. They made.
No, they did. I'm just saying they never got to the. My thing is, I think DeMar has a different mentality because even in the moments when LaVine was not here and he was down for that month, and they were winning, and DeMar came back, DeMar also deferred better than Zach, I think, could ever do it because he had moments on the Spurs when he was able to facilitate and get other people involved.
He had no choice. That's Pop's system. Like, look at it.
But that's my point.
So if he wanted time on the court,
he was that was instilled in him. But that's my point is even if he had no choice, if something is continuously taught to you and you get it, it's like, okay, well, now I see the game at a different level. I'm looking at it differently. I don't think DeMar, that's just not a fluke for DeMar. I think DeMar can be that type of player if need be.
The only reason we say that is because DeMar is more closely associated with winning than Zach is. And he's only more closely associated with winning because he had a better team. As much as we talk about BBLR, which is a wild nickname, by the way.
What?
Hey, well, as much as we talk about Kyle Lowry, and I don't know why, that's one of the most pause-worthy nicknames and jokes that we've ever given a grown man. By the way, all right, this is what y'all to understand that. As much as we talk. Kyle Lowry was one of those focal points, and Kyle Lowry was on the championship Toronto Raptors team. He was important. He played an important part to that entire run. So guess what? Even DeMar needed a point guard.
Yeah.
And Kyle Lowry is a what type of point guard?
He's a score first.
No, I would say he sets up first.
Prime Kyle? I'll give you that. He's a mix. To me, he was a mix. I don't know. I'd say he's in the middle.
He didn't dominate you with his scoring ability. He dominated you when he could shoot, though.
Yeah.
Which is why when I hate saying that name. When Fred got there, it wasn't big of a difference because he could do the same thing Kyle Lowry could do. That's why Kyle Lowry fits in on Miami right now. And in the playoffs, he actually shows up. Why? Because he can put people in the right position. He knows where to be. He can hit big shots when he needs to. You don't like the fact that he makes, $40 million. But he's a champion who knows where to be, can hit big shots, and can lead people. But we put these narratives on players because of everything else. DeMar and Zach are the same player. That's why they don't work. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they can't be the same player. One is definitively better than the other. The only difference between Zach and DeMar right now is DeMar had more time as the number one. But there's nothing physically that he can do better than Zach LaVine.
Oh, no. If we're saying that, no. I just think that DeMar has a little bit different mentality of how he sees the game.
He's 8 years older. Well, 7 years older.
Which I mean, yeah, no, but that plays that kind of makes my argument for me is the fact that he's been in the league longer and he's seen different systems and he's been coached and mentored differently. I think has helped him as he's gotten older with his game and how he helps out his team. Steve-O, Greg Popovich is literally the best or one of the best coaches ever to do.
Coaching in Toronto was better.
You talking about
was a better coach.
What's your boy's name?
I think it was Dwayne Casey. Yeah, I believe it was Dwayne Casey. He won Coach of the Year.
Yeah, then they fired him.
And then he had Nick Nurse. That's where I get kind of fuzzy. I forgot how long Nick was there before they got rid of DeMar. But even still, both coaches are better than Billy.
Well, yeah, that's not even an argument. I agree with that.
So
Billy,
look at what he was able to come from. We could talk about and you're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong, but he was able to develop differently because he had a better team, a better coach. He actually had some experience winning. He had a long playoff run. Like really, it was a force to be reckoned with. And Toronto was the Boston Celtics before the Boston Celtics became like this new look Boston Celtics before this Boston Celtics.
Right.
Toronto was the team that was like, oh, it's their year. Oh, it's their year. Oh, they're gonna make it. That was them before the Celtics came along. Now Celtics are in that same boat. Maybe it's their year, this, that, and the other. If they don't win this year, that's on them. I'm sorry. You got like a Hall of Fame. Like this is the most loaded Celtics team that we've seen in a very long time. This is a more loaded team than when KG and Ray Allen was there.
Right.
So I mean, they don't win this year. That's on them. But all that being said, like, is it time to move on? Yeah, because let's be honest. Put yourself in that situation. This is like what your second or third coach. You got there when the organization was trash. You've improved yourself as a player every year. As soon as you get paid money, you the scapegoat. There's nothing good that's developed out of this. You trade away somebody who could have been his assist at power forward. That person goes on to win most improved, become an all-star, Lauri Markkanen. It's kind of funny how Coby White is coming along now. It's like, hey, like we can sit there and like denigrate Zach and say he should have did this, but you only say that because the money's tied to it. And you can't do that. Because on a football side, that's exactly what's going to happen to Justin Fields if they keep him.
I just think with more money, more responsibility is expected. Like there's more on your plate to be expected. When you get paid like top dollar, or when you get paid more than what you were getting paid, there's a level of, okay, we need you to hit these markers. That's why even in contracts, sometimes you have, if you do this, okay, well, you get this incentive or you get this bonus. Like there's things that your organization expects you to do or to be with that money.
So what do you expect me to do if you don't give me the tools, but it's time for you to pay me? You have to go based off my individual contribution. And my individual contribution says that I am a top 5 shooting guard at the time. And this is the market for shooting guards. So you pay me my money. It's not my fault that you didn't get me the tools. It ain't my fault that you got Patrick Beverly when you in Javon Carter and stuff like that. It ain't my fault that you saw what Patrick Beverly did. You didn't bring him back for $10 million. It ain't my fault. Patrick Beverly said they didn't want to sign him. He was asking for $10 million, dog. It's not my fault. So I might just be even. I just say be even killed, because just as much as we can blame Zach for not elevating this team, I can sit there and say the Bulls didn't do it either. And the only thing we're seeing right now is that the team that is developing is a younger team. They have a direction, and a lot of the older people are taking the backseat.
Well, what I will say is this, in my closing argument is, I think that with the, like Mikey said, with Zach going down for another maybe week or two, if he's still going to be on this team, I think the Bulls will continue to show that they have enough to win, at least in the regular season. I think they have enough to win because they have a different style of play when he's not involved. And when Coby is the focal point in running the team the way he's been running it, and then getting everybody else involved. So I can't give that excuse to say, well, you didn't build around Zach the right way. Zach has had plenty to work with where the Bulls should have at least been a playoff team, and there were years where they weren't. They were just horrible. Who? I'm not talking about championship. I'm talking about at least getting the playoff.
Who?
Literally some of the same people that are on the team now. Zach, Vucevic. You still had a young Lauri Markkanen. You had Lonzo Ball. You had a whole bunch of players that were here still that was decent enough for the Bulls to at least be competitive enough to get into the playoffs before the play-in was even created.
And then
they should have been a top 8 team in the East.
And then the reality hit. Lonzo got hurt. Zach got hurt.
Yeah, but that's not their fault that injuries happen. That's part of the game. They can't say that we didn't build a team around you or we didn't give you the pieces to succeed. Injuries happen.
AK didn't adjust. And AK has
I don't think AK was given the controls as much as he probably could have.
No, you know why I call cap on that? Because I highly doubt that Reinsdorf was like, hey, AK, you see that number 4 overall Patrick Williams?
Here you go.
I think we should draft him. I don't think he said that. I don't think he's looked at
It
Michael like you
always
like
goes
that guy
back to
over there,
Patrick
don't you?
Williams. All roads lead back to
He said
to
you like that guy
blaming
over there, right?
Patrick Williams.
Yeah. Oh, Michael, I'm sure you like that guy. Hey, we should go get that guy, right? Right. I'm sure he didn't say that with Tyrese Halliburton, who is now in like MVP conversations. Well, his injury probably takes him out of it now. Like none of that. Like all of this is no, dog. I got to call cap on that one, dog. I just got to call cap on it. With that being said, here's a question before we go to Freestyle Friday. He's injured. He's out for 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks are very important 2 weeks. I was banking on those 2 weeks to see if he could coexist with what's happening now with Coby White and DeMar. He's going to be out 1 to 2 weeks. We saw the injury. It's not like he's faking it. I mean, he legitimately rolled his ankle. It happens. It sucks. Timing definitely plays a part in this. What do you think now happens with his trade value?
Well, I think, first of all, if Zach didn't get traded by now, and everybody's always talking about, well, everybody's kind of found him out to be the player that he is, and his value isn't really going up. I think it only is going down more. The man's gotten injured, and if the ankle injury is serious, like you said, it actually is. Because I part of me thought that they would just kind of drag it out last time around. Well, this time, okay, no team is going to be looking for an injured star. So I don't think that he has huge trade value. Maybe 1 or 2 teams might say, all right, we'll give you this for them, but you're not going to get back some great player.
I don't think he gets moved at all this season. And that's where I've been leaning, simply because one, you can't move him and you don't know what you're doing with DeMar. Until this day, unless I'm wrong, and I've been looking for it, what are they doing with DeMar? What is DeMar's? DeMar has not re-signed an extension. He's not been his contract is up.
From what I've seen with the way they play with DeMar, like those days when they didn't have him and Zach, they played very well. But when DeMar came back before Zach, they still played decent. So maybe this is an evaluation period for that too. Now that Zach's out, DeMar is back in that maybe primary role. How does he play with Coby? How do they feed off of each other? Do they continue to win like they were in those couple of weeks? Maybe that's kind of like the proving grounds to see if he's going to stay here or not.
I say you trade DeMar to a contender and you get some serviceable pieces back, and you spearhead a full rebuild, and you rebuild around Coby White, Patrick Williams, if that's who you riding with.
You doggone right.
You anchor it with the fact that you have still a serviceable big in Vooch, a rebounding machine in Drummond.
Yeah.
You try to facilitate a trade for Zach in the offseason if you can. If not, now you have your potential star still, right, with a developed Coby White, because Zach didn't play with this level of Coby White. So let me see how you rock with Coby White. Give me 15 games of this level of Coby White in you and see what happens. That's what I want to see. Because you can't tell me they're not going to head toward the rebuild. Like, there's nothing that screams we're going to be contenders anytime soon. If I trade Zach LaVine and some more pieces, I put Joel Embiid on this team, we still a bottom of the pack team. Joel Embiid is out there scoring 50. I just don't see it. Like, we're in that state right now where we're that mid.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, man. Hey, listen. I'll have another video of that going on the Chicago Bulls breeze because
yes, sir.
Hey man, we're gonna keep this as free flowing as possible. My man JC over here will have more for you all on the Chicago Bears breeze, as well as the ATS report. Go support that channel as well.
Appreciate y'all.
You all know that we gotta show love and everything for him. He's been rocking with us. And then also you already know who I am, P Kid Talks NBA. We'll see that. I got some heat for Anthony Edwards coming out, because that man is definitely MVP.
Oh my God. I saw something the other day. I was like, is he the next Michael Jordan? When he like faked somebody out, alley-ooped it to himself.
His mama got some explaining to do. That's all I gotta say. His mama got some explaining to do. Mike wasn't perfect. They just didn't have social media. That's all I'm saying. They just didn't have social media. But this is gonna be the how we wrap up Freestyle Friday, man. You said you had an interesting thing for Freestyle Friday, dog. What you got for me?
Yeah, no, this is it. I don't know if it's interested or not, but I just wanted to kind of cater to. We always talking about the Bulls and the Bears, but we got another team that's technically that's in Illinois, which is the Illinois Fighting Illini. If anybody's really into college basketball like that, the Illini are a very very good team. I think they're ranked number 14 right now, and their best player hasn't been playing. His name is Terrence Shannon Jr., and for the last 2 weeks. He's actually been out because there's been some very serious, probably life-changing allegations that he has had to go through.
Okay.
Can't say the actual word, but
Yep,
you know.
Yep. I know. I
Yep.
was wondering where you was going with it. I was about to say, you about to cut that mic off clean.
No. You know, I know I can't say
Can't
the
say
word,
that.
but you get what I'm saying, people.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the latest actually is that he's actually has been officially reinstated to the team, so effective immediately he'll have full status to rejoin the team. And so just to kind of talk about it in a positive light, I think that having TSJ back is going to elevate this team to even greater heights because they've been playing very well even without him. They just beat Michigan and Juwan Howard over in Michigan the other day. They did have a tough loss to somebody before that. I can't remember who it was, but they've been playing very well. So to add him back to the team as that number one option, I think is going to propel them to be one of the better teams in the entire college basketball. So shout out to them.
Shout out to him, man. Shout out to very interesting situation going on over there. And so you know, you just hope that whatever the findings are, that the right decision is made.
Yeah.
Young man is you know, obviously innocent. Let's just say that. Just put it plainly. Then let him live his life. But if not, then let justice be served. However
Yeah, facts. What's right is
no,
right.
that's what's up. That's what's up. I have an interesting situation here, and this is one that I'm gonna read it off like this. If I told you 2 years ago that the Minnesota Timberwolves would be number one in the Western Conference firmly, would you have believed it? Excuse me.
Not in a lifetime.
What if I told you that SGA?
What if I told you?
What if I told you that SGA would be amongst those teams that are top in the West, leading the charge?
I wouldn't think OKC or Minnesota would be anywhere near the top, bro.
What if I told you they both had a better record than the defending champs that year?
Are you drinking?
Right now, the Thunder and the Wolves have a better record than the Nuggets. And that is in a conference in which you have obviously the defending champs and Jokic and them boys. You have a Clippers team with James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and whoever else they got over there. I mean, they got a squad over there, right?
Yeah, they do. They have a squad.
They're leading the West with Luka and Kyrie on the same team. They're leading the West with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal on the same team.
Yeah.
And they're leading the West with LeBron and AD and the Lakers being 10th.
I was just about to say they're not even in the play-in.
They are the
wait. Where's Golden State is not in the play-in either? Did I just see something where they're under the Lakers record-wise?
Yeah, Golden State's 3 games back from the Lakers.
So they're both out of the playoffs technically if they started today.
If we went to like a traditional format, because of the play-in, Lakers would still be in contention.
10th, right? You did say 10th, right. I keep forgetting this,
which
10th
I think
now.
is whack. I think it should only be 9. I think the play-in.
Yeah, that everything's been watered down in my opinion.
The play-in
should only
be
story.
9 and 8, and it's only if the record is within 3 games. That's how I feel it should be. But apparently, the 10th made sense to them. With all that being said, those are the teams leading the pack. In fact, even with the Celtics having all these people on there, KP, JB, Jason Tatum, what's the point guard name?
Oh, from Milwaukee.
Jesus, lockdown defender. 20 points a game. He could be 20 and 10 anytime you want to. Jesus, what is his name? That's how many people they got. We forgot him.
Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday. Yeah, like they're contending with that team.
Yeah.
They got a better record than the Bucks, better record than the Sixers, better record than the Cavs, and on top of all of that, he's clearly the face of the league. Like,
I'm with you.
I don't
Yeah,
care what
he
nobody
he
say.
he
He's
he ain't
clearly the
got
face
in
of the league.
trouble like Ja, or he got hurt now like Ja, and he definitely ain't he ain't get nobody pregnant like like Zaya.
So 4 years ago, if I told you that Anthony Edwards would be the face of the league over John Morant, Zion Williamson, SGA, who's balling by the way, he just don't get the looks.
Yes, he is.
You probably wouldn't have believed it.
No, not at all.
But that's the situation now. And
Changing of the
Ant-Man
guard, baby. Changing of the guard.
Ant-Man got it. So that was interesting to me because I'm like, I looked up and I was like, I've been paying attention, but I ain't really pay attention. I was like, oh my God, they got the best record in the West. And they steamrolling people.
Yeah.
They are steamrolling people. That was just interesting to me. I think that right now we literally do have two people who fumbled the bag. Zion and Ja. SGA is just too small of a market, unfortunately. And Ant-Man is just like Ant-Man is going to be what we call a superstar. I think everyone else
absolutely.
Realistically are just all-stars.
Absolutely.
I had superstar potential. I think it's going to be a while. He's going to have to go through that Kobe phase. You know, Kobe, after those allegations, he kind of went through the dark ages for like 2-3 years and stuff like that. He's going to have to go through that a little bit. But everybody else are just all-stars. But that kid and his group and his peer group, that's the superstar.
No, he's definitely special.
That's it, man. That's all I had. I thought that was interesting, man. He's the complete face of that. He can be the face of the league. He's definitely the face of that franchise. Who knows what Cat is? I'll be honest with you. Cat probably would be like, we don't even talk about Cat. We don't even talk about Karl Anthony Towns or Rudy Gobert as much. Well, we talk about Rudy Gobert. But like Karl Anthony Towns is like a footnote on that team right now. That's how big of a star this kid is now.
Yeah.
That you're a franchise player or a former franchise player is literally that, a former franchise player, and he's still on the team. That's kind of crazy. That must suck. Hey, man, that's all I got, man. This was an interesting day. A lot of different things that we discussed, but at the end of the day, we kept it going. We kept the consistency up. You see JC over there. JC about to die. My man is y'all don't realize my man is.
I ain't gonna lie. You don't realize for the last 30 minutes, I've been trying to hold in all my sniffing and everything. I don't know if y'all notice my voice sounds like I'm in a tunnel somewhere.
We gonna let this man get some meds, man. Go ahead, lay down, man. I hope you feel better. I hope everyone stays.
I love y'all. Y'all better know that we love y'all because I'm on here for y'all.
Absolutely. We hope everyone stays well. Is actually warm over the weekend. It's supposed to snow again, I believe. And I say this. I gotta say this because I didn't know this. Anybody remember Robert? Used to be in the chat with us. P1. Baki, you might know Robert. Steve-O, you know Rob. V-Dog, I know you do. I just found out that he's going through a tough time. I'm not gonna put out exactly what, but he has a loved one that's not doing so well. And Robert has been a P1 with us since we were at like 1,000 subs. And so I wanted to take this moment to give a special shout out to him because he DM'd me on Discord, which I got to get better at checking. I didn't check that thing. He sent it to me like 3 days ago, telling me the situation. And I felt like such a jerk that I didn't get it. So I wanted him to know that sincerely, our prayers are out for him and his family. We absolutely care and we appreciate his support. So we definitely want to return it and support him. And so, man, prayers out to him because he's going through a really, really tough time, man. And I do apologize that we didn't get it. If Pat didn't see it, I'm gonna be honest with you. Do not take that personal. We literally just didn't see it. So we again, you are in our prayers, and we sincerely hope that you and your loved one do well. But that's it, man. We definitely want to appreciate you all for supporting us. As you can see, this is a community we've built. We care for you all like you all care for us. And so we just make sure that we want to make sure that everyone is in our prayers as well. But next week, hopefully we get some bigger news. Maybe Zach will be here, maybe you won't. We'll see.
Hey.
But either way, we're going to be Bears fans. We're going to be Bulls fans until somebody wins. Let's just hope it's soon. Till next week, y'all. Peace.